Hey, thanks for checking out this video today. My name is Michelle, if we don't know each other yet, and my work is as the soul translator as well as having Sensate Soul for your source for all things around sensitivity, empathy, and as well and being an empathic entrepreneur, because let's face it, we don't want our sensitivities to suck. We actually want them to shine and be the way that we create, connect, and help others in our lives, and also, if you're an empathic entrepreneur, in your work. So today we're going to be talking exactly about that. We're going to be talking about empaths as entrepreneurs and contribution. I also want to talk just a little bit about, in general, self-expression as an empath and sensitive. And I do have a couple tips to be able to embrace more of who you are and what you have to contribute. So I'm giggling this morning because I put a post up on social media. I don't know if you've seen the wonderful stand-up comedy show and very raw story sharing of Hannah Gadsby with her show called Nanette. So she's got this great joke that she totally delivers deadpan because she's absolutely brilliant. And she says, for all the times basically that I was told, stop being so sensitive, it's really a little bit like a nose being lectured by a fart. It's just so absolutely hilarious. And that's what it often can feel like, being an empath, an HSP, or an intuitive. And when you are also an empathic entrepreneur, can be extra challenging. So I don't know about you, but I do imagine if you're interested in this topic and identify yourself as an empath, you've probably been told many times, as I was, that you have nothing to contribute to this conversation. What are you talking about? Whatever you're saying is really like different and doesn't quite fit into what we're saying, or get to the point. That's another one. You know, when we're talking about things on so many different levels and someone else is saying, will you just get to the point? And I've been told literally, Michelle, you have nothing to say here. You have nothing to contribute to this conversation, when I was growing up. Now, please know this is not a victim stance. I do not ever want to give the impression, and I definitely do my best to not present anything about being an empath and sensitive and an entrepreneur in the world as any sort of victim stance, because it's not. Anything that we have that forms us and makes us stronger is the thing that we can then use to help ourselves and to grow as who we are, and to help those professionally if that's what we choose to do. And what I also know is true for empaths and HSPs is that we have had a lot of cutting off of our voice, a lot of shutting down of the first and second and third chakras. In fact, what I see in my work and what I personally have seen in my life, that the first, second, and third, and the throat chakra, the expression, the will, how your will comes out through your voice, speaking up for yourself. These are like the four chakras that we end up having to work with the most and heal the most, because they are the places where we gave away a lot of our power, or where we simply didn't feel like we belong and are not safe. So that's for another video. But today we're going to be talking about this idea of contribution. And I think most of us can benefit from, whether we are an entrepreneur or working or creating anything that really matters to us, these points still apply. All right, so the first one, love, is please value what you value. It is so easy for empaths and sensitives to get swayed by other people's opinions, other people's impressions, other people's will, other people's convincing energies. I don't say this, again, please don't hear this as a way to say that we are weak. It is not that. The other side of this empathic connection is that we can get the read and the feel of other people so easily that it's like second nature to us. And then sometimes it can be difficult to separate what are our thoughts, what do we really value, compared to what we get from other people. Also, empaths and sensitives are glorious in being able to support the love and the passions and what excites other people. We can feed on that energy with people. That's why empaths can be incredible healers and coaches, because we really do feel and hold those enthusiastic visions with our clients. As if they were our own. we get very invested in positive ways with other people's dreams and with who they want to be. And sometimes we can get a little bit lost in this idea of like, okay, where do you end and where do I begin? And also, another layer of this is so many empaths and sensitives are basically told growing up or in relationships, or also by society, because hello, I've coined the term sensitivism because it exists, that the things that we do value, like our senses and sensitivity and empathy, haven't always been reflected back to us in our families and also in the world. So sometimes that sets up this idea of like, well, can I really trust what's important to me? So valuing what you value and making it a simple, beautiful, self-honoring kind of thing. So I want to add something else with this. Keep it simple, because there's so many beautiful things to love and do in the world. And as much as I'm like crazy about creativity and infinite possibilities, there are usually a handful of things that most of us are really good at, and also what we really have the capacity or the bandwidth to put our energy into. So valuing what you value, make it those one or two or three things. Make those things sacred. Don't excuse them, but also don't distract yourself too much by feeling like you have to be the end-all be-all and you have to be the multi-passionate person. Great to be multi-passionate, but if it's, again, an expectation that's taking you from truly what you value, then it's just adding distraction and dispersing and dispelling your energies. So valuing what you value and really letting that be okay is really, really important. So by the way, all of these points are going to add up to a little formula that you can use to identify what really is that sweet spot for you. What are those places that you really want to invest your energy in as an empathic entrepreneur, or simply what you're passionate about? So the second one is about the intolerables. I do my work because for me, growing up and feeling the core of who I am not being reflected, accepted, and in fact enhanced in the world was a real source of pain and struggle and just sucked. Really, and also has been the source of my strength. So personally, this is why my mission is about increasing sensitivity, elevating empathy, and making these qualities of the human's heart and of the soul, forefront and center in our lives, in our work, and in our society, because they're really essential to the heart of being a human, and to creativity as well. So, and to trusting ourselves and being our truest self, and to connecting with others and really embodying ourselves in the most beautiful way we can. So that's why this is so important to me. So if you look at what is it in your life that you have found is intolerable, and that's going to give you the place where you have an incredible gift and something to contribute that is really about your passion and about the thing that you want to do in the world that can help make a better place for all of us. So the third one here is about doing what's natural. And I know it's kind of one of those oxymoron things where it's like, well, if I really knew what was natural, would it still be natural? Or you're asking me to like see what's so obvious to others, but if it's natural to me, how can I possibly see it? So this is a great place where you can work with a coach or do some personal development to help you see what are these things that you are so natural at that just kind of like you could do them in your sleep. And yes, it does take digging, and yes, it does take some soul searching. But when you identify those things and you add them to the other two, you will find your sweet spot. So here's the idea of a simple formula that you can use with these 3 points. The first one was about valuing what you value. So write down a really simple from the gut kind of list that is just like, you know what, these are the things that are really important to me. That can be anything. So the second thing is to look for the pain point. What is it that has felt intolerable to you that if you could change it about yourself and also others, then you would. You're passionate about that. And then the third one's about what comes natural to you. And if you need to get some help with identifying that, please do. But I bet you could probably get some answers without having to ask around if you just trusted with yourself with the first one, valuing what you value. So if you take this simple formula and you say, you look at something that you value, what feels intolerable, and then what feels natural, you can find that sweet spot of what do they all have in common in the sense of who you are and what you love to do. The most important thing with this part of contribution is trust yourself. I would say if you're watching this video and you are an empath, HSP, or also a spiritual-based entrepreneur, or also an empathic entrepreneur, you're not going to do any harm. I don't think you have that intention. I trust that you don't. And so because you're such a beautiful soul and a gorgeous empath, what you want to put out into the world and how you want to make your contribution is so vital and so coming from a loving place in you, and I have no doubt about that. The thing is can you trust it? Can you honor it? Can you believe that your contribution matters? This does have to do with the throat chakra. It does have to do with a sense of belonging and safety with the lower chakras. Like I said, that will be another video. We have to start with valuing our own contribution and knowing that it matters, because it really does. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked what you heard here and would like to hear more, please do like it or subscribe to my channel, as well as meet me over at thesoultranslator.com, as well as Sensate Soul. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. So much love.